Hey crafty friends, this is Jenny from CraftTestAmise.com, and today I have a really cool comparison for you. I know we always ask the question, what is the best white stamp pad? Because you know, when you're stamping on a dark surface or black, you want that white to really pop. So I've tested 10 different stamp pads to give you the best answer. Let's take a look. For this epic comparison, I actually tried 10 different white stamp pads from different companies. Some are pigment, some are dye. So let me show you the ones that I used. All of these are commonly available. They're available at retailers, online. There are some ones I didn't test because they're only available from certain websites or from even home parties a little bit. So this isn't comprehensive, but this out of 10, I'm going to show you the best ones I found. So let's get through it. Okay, by the way, you should know that almost all of these were brand new and I'd never used them before. Now this one I stored upside down and so you can see that it ran, but this was a brand new color box pigment. I have Hero Hues Pigment White Ink, Hero Hues Dye White Ink, Versa Magic in Cloud White, Versa Color in White, Avery Elle, Picket Fence from Distress, a Stampin' Up! Whisper White Craft Pad, Simon Says Stamp White Pigment Ink, and the one that I just opened up today, the Delicata White Shimmer. So now as I remove the stamp pads from their associated samples, you can see clearly through the camera that some are much brighter than others. I should also let you know each one of these was stamped one time only. I cleaned the stamp and dried it between each one so I wouldn't get any cross-contamination. So let's start with the ones that obviously are not great. Distress, while we love it, just doesn't have enough contrast. It's also, well, it just doesn't have enough contrast. The Versa color, while it's so good on other surfaces, the black just does not show up. Color box was a little disappointing. It almost shows up blue. The Hero Arts white dye, not great. The Hero Arts pigment did marginally better, but still not that bright. Simon Says Stamp, not great. Versa Magic, not great, which leaves these three. Now, you can tell very clearly through the camera that they all show up really nicely. So for me, these are the three clear winners. Now, probably the least great one, or the least performing, is the Delicata Shimmer, but I included it as something I really like because it does have a really nice shine, and it may be hard to see on camera, but in real life, this has a lot of shimmer and shine to it, and it does have a great impact. So I would not hesitate to use this again on dark cardstock, knowing that you would absolutely be able to see what I stamped. The other big winner is Avery Elle. Now, this is a company I'm not that familiar with. I have to apologize. I smudged a little bit when I was moving it around, but it has a really nice bright white finish. It actually dries a little bit faster than Stampin' Up, so that may be a consideration for you, and it had a nice bright white crisp image. Stampin' Up. Stampin' Up has the boldest, brightest, most opaque impression, and I just absolutely adore it. And this is just a single stamp. This isn't even a double stamp. When you double stamp it, it gets even more opaque, but it has so much crispness to it. It's I don't even say crispness, but it has a really excellent contrast. Because it's a craft stamp pad, It can get a little gloppy in your nooks and crannies, so you have to be careful when inking it up. But if you want it to show up on black cardstock, it gets a thumbs up. Knowing that these two were my favorites, I did a stamp off. Stamp off! Okay, so I decided to stamp on green for something different. I've got Avery Elle here on the left, and I have Stampin' Up on the right. The top images were each stamped one time. Now, just to look at it, the Stampin' Up is a little bit darker, it's a little bit thicker. But remember how I told you it takes longer to dry? I let this sit for over 5 minutes, and then I ran my finger across both sides, and as you can see, the Stampin' Up pad was still wet and smudged. Now, if you want to emboss this, that's perfect. But if you're working in a lot of multiples and you want it to dry quickly to go on to the next step, you may like Avery Elle better because it dries faster than Stampin' Up. Although Stampin' Up has a great sheen to it, even when it's just stamped one time and it's very opaque. Now here on the bottom, I went ahead and I stamped it twice. Again, I don't know why I was getting so messy over here, but I apologize for that. But even with a double stamp, I think the Stampin' Up just shows up a little bit brighter. But both of these would be great options for you. Now, if you're shopping online, Avery Elle might be easier for you to find. You can get this on Amazon.com. If you don't have a rep, I think you can still go ahead and buy this just from the website, and they'll assign you a rep. So you don't have to do the whole home party thing if you don't want to. Now, the last little thing to consider is the pad itself. And I just want to show you the size of the pads. This retails for $6.50. You can get a re-inker. This retails for $5.99, and you can get a re-inker. As you can see, the Stampin' Up surface is slightly larger. You're going to pay 50 cents more, but you've got a bigger area. So if you're doing bigger stamps, you might like this a little bit better. If you don't want to mess with home parties, you just want to pick it up on Amazon and have it shipped to your house in 2 days, you might like Avery Elle instead. So here we go, folks. This is the hands down winner. Number 1, top honors goes to Stampin' Up in Whisper White craft pad. The very close second is Avery Elle pigment ink pad in white. And an honorable mention goes to the Delicata pad, which is made by Sukaniko Imagine Crafts. I hope you found this helpful and or informative, and if you did, please share it, like it, and give it a thumbs up. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a crafty day.